I know firsthand the power of public schools. I'm a product of the public schools. My children went to public schools. My mom was the greatest public school teacher in the history of North Carolina. I still have some people come to me and say, Governor, I want to pay you a compliment. I'm going, oh, your mama was the best teacher I ever had. And that's what, my mom worked very hard, just like so many teachers, working early in the mornings, working late at night. And I say, Mom, you've been doing this for 20 years, why are you working so hard? She said, every child is different, every class is different, every year is different. And there are so many teachers across our state who work like that. And that's what public schools are about, safe places where children can learn from teachers and counselors and coaches and teacher assistants and others who care about them, where they meet friends, different kinds of people, and make friends with them, where they can get the opportunity for successful lives. Our public schools are doing amazing work. A lot of people criticizing them right now do not step foot in the building, do not know the challenges, and do not know the successes. Think about it. Our statewide graduation rate is the highest it's been, 87%. Here in Burke County, it's 88%. We've given 325,000 workforce credentials out of our public schools last year for construction and trades and information technology where people can go to work. It's 6,200 of them right here in Burke County. North Carolina has more nationally board certified teachers than any other state in the country. The highest achievement a teacher can have, and you have 88 of those teachers right here in Burke County. There are hundreds and hundreds of other examples of what great things our public schools are doing. I think the bottom line is our North Carolina public schools rock. They do. And I'm here to celebrate those successes. But let me tell you this, success blooms not from the seeds we planted last week or even last year. North Carolina's dedication to public schools goes back 150 years, reading your North Carolina history. When North Carolina was one of the poorest states in the country, we found a way to invest in our public schools. We knew then what is true today, that strong schools equal strong communities and a strong state. Too often, though, our public schools are told by the state legislature to do more with less. And unfortunately, these are tough numbers, but they've come over the last couple of years. We now rank 46th in the country in beginning teacher pay, 11th out of 12th in the Southeast. We now invest $5,000 less per student than the national average. That is not who we are as North Carolinians. That deserves a wake-up call. And as governor, I've answered that call by submitting budgets over the last few years to the legislature with meaningful pay raises, with more teaching fellow scholarships, Principal Costello, with making sure that we meet the constitutional mandate. We've had our Supreme Court for decades say that we should abide by the phrase in our Constitution that every child is entitled to a sound basic education. And we haven't been meeting that obligation. It's time for us to do that. And my budgets have done that. But every year the legislature has come up short. We risk losing these good teachers when they're underpaid and underappreciated. Our parents know that our schools are underfunded. They spend countless hours here volunteering, even pulling money out of their own pockets for school supplies and help. And our parents are so involved, and we want our parents involved in our public schools. But the legislature has continued to say no to schools, even though the state has had the money to fund them. Instead, We're seeing tax breaks for the wealthiest among us, and those continue, and we're diverting $4 billion over the next decade to private school vouchers. Let me tell you what that does. It's going to take money directly from the public schools, and in the first full year here, 1.1 million will come from Burke County. Mr. Commissioner, the school board may be back to you for that. That's wrong, particularly when most private schools are not better than public schools. And we've seen this play out across the country. A recent study in Louisiana, those who used the private school vouchers to switch from a public school to a private school went to the midpoint performance to the bottom quartile to 26% in a single year. They also lost ground in reading and science and social studies. In Indiana and Ohio, students who used vouchers fared worse. Vouchers have been causing budget problems in state, and you're even getting pushback from legislators in Arizona and Texas on this. But in North Carolina, we won't know how our students are doing with private school vouchers because private schools who get that money don't have to tell the taxpayers anything about what they do with that money. In fact, private schools that get private school vouchers don't have to have licensed teachers. They don't have to provide meals. They don't have to provide transportation. They don't have to provide any services for the disabled. They don't have to tell taxpayers what they teach, how their students perform, which students they decide to reject, or whether their students even show up at all. Now let me be clear, I am not against private schools, but I am against taxpayer money going to private schools at the expense of public schools. And that's what the data shows. And I believe we need to put a moratorium on private school vouchers until we fully fund our public schools. Our public schools are so central to who we are. Think about the concerts and the pancake suppers and the football games and the quiz bowls and the art and the music and the theater and the athletics. Public schools are often the glue that hold our communities together. And in North Carolina, more than 8 in 10 school-aged children have parents who choose the public schools for them. And in Burke County, 85.5% of school-aged children are in our public schools. And in surveys and in testimonials, parents are satisfied with public schools. It's why I've declared 2024 the year of public schools in North Carolina. And I'm going to be in schools and meeting with businesses and community leaders and parents and teachers, and to make sure people are understanding what is happening, and to make sure people are educated about what they need to do in talking with legislators. I'm going to be talking about the great work our public schools are doing, but also talk about how we can even get better. So, we're in school, you got homework. You got homework. I'd like for you to touch base with your legislators and tell them 4 things. First, great things are happening in our public schools. Second, put a moratorium on private school vouchers until we fully fund our public schools. Third, pay teachers like the professionals that they are. And fourth, expand access to early childhood education, pre-K, and quality childcare. We do those 4 things. It can help us result in a great principal in every school and a great teacher in every classroom. When you got that, you're 90% on the way to great public schools. Let them roll, let them teach, let them do what they do. Your voice makes a difference. Our schools in North Carolina have got to produce the people who are going to build our homes and highways and grow our food and keep our lights on and keep our water clean. Maybe some student from this school will be the doctor that finds a cure for cancer. I know that this school is going to produce a public school educator who's going to change lives. That's what our public schools do. We live in an amazing state, and it's been the privilege of my life to serve as governor of the state where I was born, and the state that I love so much. And you know, we're rocking with the economy right now. We've been bringing in a record number of jobs. In the last 2 years, North Carolina's been ranked #1 in the country in business. But let me tell you something, folks, and the business leaders know this, and they got to step up. We won't continue to be #1 in business if we become last in education. The future of our state goes to public school every single day, and we've got to make sure we invest in that future. I'm excited to be here today at Forest Hills. A lot of great things going on here, and let's go out and make this the best year ever for our North Carolina public schools. Thank you guys very much.